All right, part of today's lesson is going to be talking about conversions with our English system of measurements. So we're going to be using a formula sheet kind of paper. It is linked in Google Classroom for you. It's called Units of Measurement on one side, and on the other side you're going to see a large G, capital G, and then some basic baking conversions as well. We're going to focus in on the units of measurement side, and what I'm going to ask you to do is we're going to actually use what's called the goalpost method. And the goalpost method is going to have us to multiply various units until we actually cancel out our units that we don't want anymore and change it over to units that we do have. So we're going to start by taking the first unit that's given, 10 feet, and we're going to put this over top of 1. I'm going to put a little X here because we're going to be multiplying some fractions. Ultimately, we want inches, and we want that to end up on the top is where we want that to be because that's going to be our final answer. So we look to see, do we have a conversion between feet and inches? And in fact, we actually do. And that conversion is that we have 1 foot gives us 12 inches. So we want feet to be on the bottom because if we have the same units on the top and bottom, they're going to cancel out. And we're going to put the inches up on the top. So we have 1 foot is 12 inches. This allows us to go back. We can cancel out the feet. And then across the top, we just multiply our numbers. 10 times 12 is 120. We keep the label of inches, and on the bottom we have 1 times 1, which is just 1. Anything over 1 is just what remains on the top. So 10 feet is 120 inches. And yes, this is one that you could have done by just multiplying by 12, but it's nice to do these with easy examples so that we can kind of mentally check our work. For part B, we're going to start with 72 quarts, and we're going to put this over top of 1. We're trying to go from quarts to gallons, and I'm looking at the units of measurement paper, and I'm noticing that in capacity, the customary ones, we go from quarts to gallons, so we can do that one. So I'm going to put quarts on the bottom here so that they are going to cancel out, and I want gallons to be on the top because that's my final answer. It tells me 1 gallon is 4 quarts. So I can then go back, and I'm going to cross off my quarts. And across the top, I'm going to do 72 times 1, which gives me 72 gallons, over 1 times 4, which is 4. So my final answer, I'm going to go ahead and divide 72 divided by 4, and I'm going to get 18, and I keep the label gallons. So this is 18 gallons. In example number C, or letter C, I'm going from ounces to pounds, and it looks like I do know that 1 pound is 16 ounces. So I can go ahead, take 192 ounces, put this over 1. My goal is to get pounds on the top and ounces on the bottom, so they cancel. I know from my conversion sheet that 16 ounces is 1 pound. So I'm going to multiply across the top and then divide through by the bottom. So I have 192 pounds over 16, and 192 divided by 16 is going to give me 12 pounds. The last one is going from 180 inches over to yards. So I'm going to start with 180 inches, put that over 1. In my next conversion, I need inches down here. My ultimate goal is to get yards up here, but looking at my formula sheet, I go from yards to feet and then feet to inches. So we're going to say that there are 12 inches in 1 foot. I can cancel off my inches, but feet is not where I want to go. So I'm going to actually add one extra method here, and I'm going to know that 1 foot is 3 feet is 1 yard because I want yards to be on the top. So I'm going to cancel out feet, and across the top, 180 times 1 times 1 is 180. I'm left with the label of yards, and on the bottom, 1 times 12 times 3, which is 36. So I take my calculator and I do 180 divided by 36, which gives me 5, leaving that label of yards up at the top with it. So those are the first few basic examples. In part E, we have 40 ounces. So we're going to go ahead and take 40 ounces, put it over 1. We're looking to make this into cups. So I look at my units of measurement sheet, and I know that 1 cup is 8 ounces. So I'm going to put ounces on the bottom and 1 cup on the top. So there's my conversion from my conversion sheet. Crossing off the ounces, I'm going to get 40 cups divided by 8, which is going to give me 5 cups as my final answer. Last one, 10 feet. We're going to go to inches. I'm going to 10 feet over 1. 12 inches are in 1 foot. My feet are going to cancel out. 10 times 12 is 120 inches over 1, so I don't even need to write that. So we got 120 inches. In the next part, we're going to do a couple multi-step conversions. So this is asking me to take 6 feet 4 inches and change it into inches. I'm not going to require you to do goalpost here, but you know that you already have 4 inches. 6 feet is 6 times 12 in terms of inches, so that's going to be 72 inches, plus the 4 that you already had for a total of 76 inches. Over here in letter B, we're going from 1 quart to 1 pint and 1 cup to how many cups do we actually have. So we have 1 cup here. If I look at the G side of my paper, it's easier to see that in 1 pint I have 2 cups. And in 1 quart, I can actually see that there are 4 cups. So I have 4 cups plus 2 cups plus the 1 cup that I started with, which leaves me with 7 cups total. In the next one, I'm going from 2 gallons and 3 quarts to how many quarts? 3 quarts is already here. In 1 gallon, I notice there are 4 quarts. So in 2 gallons, there would be 8 quarts, plus the 3 that I already had, which leaves me with 11 quarts total. In letter D, I have 2 tons, 553 pounds. According to my formula sheet that I have, 2 tons is going to be, 1 ton is 1,000 pounds, or 2,000 pounds. So 2 tons is going to be 4,000 pounds plus 553. So I'm going to have 4,553 pounds total here. That is your lesson on just the basic conversions. The next one is going to be some equivalent rates. So we're going to see a rate of 90 inches per minute. So that tells me 90 inches over 1 minute. And my goal is to change this into feet per minute. So I don't want an equal sign here. In other words, I want minutes to stay on the bottom, but I need to change inches on the top to feet. So I'm going to put inches down here on the bottom so they cancel. And I know there is a conversion that says there's 12 inches in 1 foot. This will allow my inches to cancel out. So I'm going to have 90 feet over 12 minutes because I'm still leaving my label. And 90 divided by 12 is going to give me 7.5 feet per minute. So we can do these with rates as well. In the next one, I have $27 per hour. So $27 for 1 hour. I want to know what's my money per minute. So my goal is to make this bottom denominator to be a minute label. Dollars is fine on the top. We're not going to mess with that. Do we have a conversion where we can put hours up here and minutes down here? We do, because 1 hour is 60 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead, take these. I have 27 times 1. Hours are going to cancel off, and that's going to leave me with 1 times 60 is 60 down here. So I take 27, divide it by 60, and we are talking money. So my answer is going to be 45 cents per minute. So I'm going to go ahead and put that up here on the line then. And that is going to be it for our lesson for today on converting those measurements.